Hello, my name is Daniel Lermer and I am the CEO of Invictus Innovations. Today I would like to introduce Bitshares. Bitshares is a crypto equity in a blockchain-based prediction market. A crypto equity is different than a cryptocurrency in that crypto equities pay dividends from the profits generated by transaction fees. One of the features provided by the Bitshares prediction market is the creation of a new class of financial assets, which we call polymorphic digital assets. Examples of these include bitUSD or bitBTC. bitUSD is like a cryptocurrency, only it is market pegged to the value of a dollar. Bitshares also enables collateralized shorts and collateralized options, which makes Bitshares more full-featured than traditional exchanges. Let's look at the structure of a traditional currency exchange. The first thing you have to do is store your value with the exchange, in which case you send them your dollars or your bitcoins in exchange for an IOU from the exchange. Once you have deposited your money, you may then trade these IOUs on the exchange. Notice that you're not trading dollars for bitcoins, but GOX dollars for GOX bitcoins. The problem with centralized exchanges is trust. While your money is stored at the exchange, your wealth is vulnerable to the exchange itself, the bank the exchange does business with, and the government that the exchange is subject to. At any time, the GOX IOU for US dollars or bitcoins could be no good. Some US dollars is more equal than other US dollars. There are many factors that go into evaluating the value of a dollar, and not all dollars are equal. Things such as insurance, access, confiscation risk, regulations, return on investments, spreads, and politics, as well as trading speed, all factor into the value of different dollars. While all dollars have the same exchange rate risk, they do not have the same value. So, a GOX USD buys less Bitcoin than a Bitstamp USD because there is additional risk. Whereas Bank USD is more valuable than paper USD in some ways because you can instantly transfer it if you're in the same bank. You can transfer it in a few days across the world if you're doing a wire transfer. But cash is more valuable for other reasons, such as being anonymous and no risk of confiscation. As you can see, just because you call something a US dollar does not mean they are the same thing. And the market proves this by pricing them all differently. So let's look at the process of buying Bitcoin via a centralized exchange. The first thing you do is you transfer your dollars for an IOU from the exchange. Then you trade IOUs on the exchange, and ultimately you redeem an IOU for Bitcoin for actual Bitcoin. As you can see, the exchange is not really trading dollars for Bitcoins, but IOU dollars for IOU Bitcoins. As a result, centralized exchanges are subject to regulations. They are dealing with financial instruments. They are put in a position of trust because the exchange could walk away with your money, and they can be coerced. Let's look at the process of creating bitUSD from Bitshares. Both Sam and Alice start with 100 Bitshares that they can acquire through many means, either through a centralized exchange, an in-person trade through local Bitshares, or they could mine them. Sam and Alice have opposite beliefs about which way the value of Bitshares will move relative to the value of a dollar. Both Sam and Alice would like to profit from this movement. So they agree to take opposite sides of a trade. Sam goes short 100 bitUSD and Alice goes long 100 bitUSD. As part of going short, Sam is required to keep twice the value of his short position held as collateral in the blockchain. Let's look at what happens if the price of dollars falls relative to Bitshares. In this case, Sam is short and Alice is long. Because the price has fallen, Sam would like to realize his profits and cover his short position before the price rises again. So, Sam can take his 200 Bitshares held as collateral and enter the market and buy 100 bitUSD with just 50 of those Bitshares. After he purchases the bitUSD is destroyed, leaving Sam with 150 Bitshares and Alice with 50 Bitshares. The purchasing power of those 50 Bitshares is still $100. But let's look at what happens if the price rises. In this case, Sam is starting to run out of collateral, so the market forces him to cover. Sam uses 150 Bitshares to buy back his 100 bitUSD, leaving Sam with only 50 Bitshares. Meanwhile, Alice now has 150 Bitshares. As you can see, the value of Alice's investment has maintained the purchasing power of 100 bitUSD. Meanwhile, Sam took the risk and lost money when the price rose, whereas he made money when the price fell. bitUSD is divisible and fungible. Any bitUSD can be used to free the collateral for any other bitUSD short position. This allows the market to manage the supply of bitUSD. Anytime the value of bitUSD is greater than paper USD, there is an opportunity to short bitUSD. This increases the supply. The supply shrinks anytime bitUSD is less than the value of paper USD relative to Bitshares, because this presents an opportunity for the shorts to cover their positions before the price corrects. Some things to notice. At no point did real US dollars exchange hands between Sam and Alice. Instead, they merely traded positions on the direction in which the market of US dollars versus Bitshares would move. As a result, Alice was able to maintain the purchasing power of US dollars without actually holding or exchanging US dollars, or depending upon an IOU from a third party to save her US dollars. Regardless of the price change in Bitshares versus real US dollars, Alice has maintained purchasing power of real USD while holding bitUSD. Value is never created nor destroyed. Sam and Alice simply trade the risks, and the value is reallocated between them according to future events. So how is the price of bitUSD discovered? Well, early on, no one knows what bitUSD represents or what the market consensus is. So people have very wide bids and asks and cannot agree. But over time, more bids and asks enter the market until it becomes very clear that there is a market consensus that bitUSD represents the value of a US dollar relative to Bitshares. Once this consensus has been reached, someone will be willing to accept the highest bid or lowest ask, and the first bitUSD will be created. So let's look at how bitUSD stacks up against the other forms of US dollar. There's no need to insure it. It's on a blockchain. There are no fractional reserves, and no one can run away with your money. You always have access to it, just like Bitcoin. It can't be confiscated any more than your private key can be confiscated. There is no need to know your customer. No regulations apply. It's entirely decentralized. While I haven't covered it so far, bitUSD also pays dividends in the same way that Bitshares pays dividends. There is a low spread when you're buying and selling bitUSD for Bitshares because there's a global order book. Politics are completely removed from the equation because it's also global in nature, and no country has the ability to completely control the network. The trading speed of bitUSD for Bitshares is once every 5 minutes, which is a human speed that allows humans to make judgments and trade. If you are doing this in person versus using computers, this is about the speed at which you can trade bitUSD for Bitshares. This is in comparison to high frequency trading, such as Mt. Gox or Bitstamp or on Wall Street. While you can create bitUSD, you can also create bitBTC. And the result of creating bitBTC and bitUSD is that for the first time you can get a true ratio of the price of US dollars to Bitcoin that is completely removed from all politics and geography. And this is part of the true value of the Bitshares system.